Okay, looks like we're live and ready to go. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in for another week of Classic Country A to Z. Tonight's show will once again be an all Tom T. Hall show. And I think we'll finish tonight. I did see a couple other songs that I had overlooked. And I just kind of tagged them on, but I think it would take the show way too long, so we might dribble into the first few songs in next week's show as well. We'll see how it goes. And then, of course, always the original song in the middle and a gospel at the end. So we will dive right in to Tom T. Hall. So tonight we start with Tom's last top 5 hit. And this song reached number 4 in the charts, 1977. The song was written in the spirit of I may not be perfect, but I'm not all bad. The song is called Your Man Loves You, Honey. And for pretty much all my life, I thought it was Your Old Man Loves You, Honey, until I dug up these lyrics for this show. So learn something new every day. Had my golf clubs on my shoulder when you saw me first today, wearing my old army sweater that you thought you threw away. And when you saw me standing there, you shook your head and sighed. When you thought I'd bought a 6-pack, I thought you were gonna cry. Your man loves you, honey. I don't know what else to say. Your man loves you, honey, but you can't change my ways. Now before you say you're angry, you remember what I did. Went to church with you last Sunday, took your mama and the kids. Sat right up and heard the preaching, even wore my Christmas tie. I'm not much on organ music, 5-string banjo's more my style. Your man loves you, honey, and I don't know what else to say. Your man loves you, honey, but you can't change my ways. Oh, you should have had a knight in armor and a castle fair, not some restless cowboy, faded jeans and shaggy hair. I can't make it big without you, and you know that it's true. Keep me round for laughs, though I've been good for 1 or 2. Your man loves you, honey, and I don't know what else to say. Your man loves you, honey, but you can't change my ways. All right. Let's see. Rose and Gail and Mary Pat, thank you for tuning in. And happy 4th of July tomorrow. So our next song was a number 9 hit for Tom in 1978. I had completely forgotten about this song and just added it to this week's set list last night. So I've only had one practice round on it. So here's hoping that won't be painfully obvious. This song is called What Have You Got to Lose? And Lori, thanks for tuning in. All right, what have you got to lose? some bars where they serve it in big silver goblets and pewter and brass. I've been in some joints where they serve it in paper cups and maybe an old water glass. But it's all the same in the old drinking game when you drink and you try to forget one woman who loved you and another who didn't, and I ain't seen one winner yet. What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? Try women and booze and the cigarette blues. What have you got to lose? Well, I've been in some towns with some high-rolling heavies, and I know some unknowns and stars. And the big equalizer is a good drink of liquor when they all belly up to the bar. Well, some cry for fame and some cry for money. Some people reach for the skies. When a lonely honky-tonk heart, when a honky-tonk heart starts crying for a honky-tonk, you can't get a tear in edgewise. What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? Try women and booze and the cigarette blues. What have you got to lose? Now an old country boy just can't sit on the porch and watch while the world's going by. Now he's got to be part of some social endeavor, so he gets him a jug and he tries. He'll play that old jukebox and chase them old hides, 'bout daylight come to in his room. When that sun's coming up, he's 'bout halfway to hell, 'bout halfway back home around noon. What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? Try women and booze and the cigarette blues. What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? Try women and booze and the cigarette blues. What have you got to lose? One little stumble there, but we made it through. All right, last week I covered Tom's big hit called "I Remember the Year That Clayton Delaney Died." And this song is kind of almost like his own answer song to that one. This one's a number 14 hit for Tom in 1979. And this story song is called "The Son of Clayton Delaney." On 4th Street in Louisville in 1978, stranded in a honky-tonk somewhere between dates, there was a little band a-playing as I sipped my beer, but I never thought that I'd hear what I'd hear. Well, there was a young man a-picking electric guitar, smoking and a-sniffing and learning how to be a star. He had a big blue bandana tied around his head, a laid-back bass and a drummer named Red. Well, his hair was cut long in the fashion of the time, sandpaper vocals, but he milked every line. His fingers like lightning on a guitar that he played. He did lay down Sally and Hank, didn't do it this way. Well, I sat there and I listened for over an hour, and the closest thing to country was a rockin' wildwood flower. And I got that feeling I had been there before, but I knew I had never been through that door. Well, the jukebox was turned on and the band took a break. I made my way up front to howdy and shake. I said, son, I like your music and I kinda like your style, but it seems to me that I have seen that smile. Well, he stood there for a moment, then he laughed and he slapped his knee. He said, you are one man I wanted to see. He said, I know you, you storytelling son of a gun. You know me, I'm Clayton Delaney's son. Okay, now this next one was a number 9 hit for Tom in 1980. This song is called The Old Side of Town. Ain't it strange how people change and almost overnight? Well, who once was a country girl is now a socialite. We're proud of you, but when you're through and seek some common ground, oh, we miss you on the old side of town. We still drink cokes and tell old jokes, and we bowl at splits and strikes. Country music still plays on the jukebox every night. Society is not for me, but I can still be found. Oh, we miss you on the old side of town. RSVP is not for me, and black tie's not my style. I thought you'd like to know, 'cause you ain't been here for a while. We read about your tour de force, we're glad you get around, but we miss you on the old side of town. We still drink cokes and tell old jokes, and we bowl at splits and strikes. George Jones is still the hero on the jukebox every night. Society is not for me, but I can still be found. Oh, we miss you on the old side of town. Babe, we miss you on the old side of town. Okay. Next one, another story song of Tom's. This song reached the charts in 1986. It was his last song to make the charts. This song is called Down at the Mall. Mama can't find a babysitter, so she drags the kids along. There's a salesman with a quota to meet today, or he'll be gone. There's a Mooney selling roses to a Baptist in the hall. You can see it all down at the mall. There's a wino begging quarters, trying to drown the past. A 3-year-old at the pet store with her nose against the glass. There's an old man on a pension with his back against the wall. You can see 'em all down at the mall. It's America in motion, it's a portrait of the times. We're blue light special heroes in a land where freedom shines. There's yuppies, guppies, puppies, and a sale on basketballs. You can find 'em all down at the mall. Young couples stare at wedding rings they know they can't afford. There's an Asian refugee with a big old ice cream store. A policeman buying candy for a little child who's lost. You can see it all down at the mall. There's a grandma shopping early there, she's digging through the toys. Young girls at the record store, they're making eyes at boys. There's a weekend daddy with a heart as big as Santa Claus. You can see 'em all down at the mall. It's America in motion, it's a portrait of the time. We're blue light special heroes in a land where freedom shines. And there's yuppies, guppies, puppies, and a sale on basketballs. You can find 'em all down at the mall. You can find us all down at the mall. All right, now I need to step back a few years to 1968 for a song that I overlooked because Tom never released the song. It turns out songwriting was all that Tom T. Hall ever really wanted to do when he first started in Nashville in the early 60s. But a director from Mercury Records approached Tom with an opportunity to sign with the label as a performer. And that way, Tom wouldn't have to shop his songs around to other artists. He could just record them himself, which was a pretty good plan, except for one thing. Tom didn't really want to be a recording artist. By and large, he considered himself a songwriter and nothing more. That was what he really wanted to be. Touring and working on the road just didn't appeal to him at all. But of course, he did start releasing songs in 1967, initially with limited success. But a year later, in 1968, an unknown Nashville secretary named Jeannie C. Riley decided to cover one of Tom's songs. The song was about a PTA meeting Tom had once attended. And with her cover of Tom's song, Jeannie C. Riley came out of nowhere and suddenly took both the country and pop charts by storm with this breakout hit of the year, which instantly reached #1 on both charts in 1968 and generated more airplay and more money than all of Tom's other songs combined to date. The song sold 6 million copies, won Grammy Awards, and was such a cultural phenomenon that it inspired a motion picture and a TV show. So Tom had a creed when it came to his own recordings, and you can tell that. I mean, I'm probably more true to his songs than most other artists, because his creed was that his first and foremost rule was that nothing was to get in the way of the lyrics. He didn't want any fancy guitar riffs. He didn't want dramatic backup vocals or sophisticated instrumentation. He didn't even allow his own vocal to stand out. Only the song's message was important. It was the story he was trying to sell above anything else, and Jeannie C. Riley followed Tom's formula to a T, so to speak, as she covered this song of his. This song is called Harper Valley PTA. More water. I want to tell you all a story about a Harper Valley widowed wife who had a teenage daughter who attended Harper Valley Junior High. Well, her daughter came home one afternoon and didn't even stop to play. And she said, "Mom, I got a note here from the Harper Valley PTA." Well, the note said, "Mrs. Johnson, you're wearing your dresses way too high. It's reported you've been drinking and run around with men and going wild. And we don't believe you ought to be bringing up your little girl this way." And it was signed by the secretary, Harper Valley PTA. Well, it happened that the PTA was gonna meet that very afternoon. And they were sure surprised when Mrs. Johnson wore her miniskirt into the room. And as she walked up to the blackboard, I can still recall the words she had to say. She said, "I'd like to address this meeting of the Harper Valley PTA. Well, there's Bobby Taylor sitting there, and 7 times he's asked me for a date. And Mrs. Taylor sure seems to use a lot of ice whenever he's away. And Mr. Baker, can you tell us why your secretary had to leave this town? And shouldn't Widow Jones be told to keep her window shades all pulled completely down? Well, Mr. Harper couldn't be here 'cause he stayed too long at Kelly's bar again. And if you smell Shirley Thompson's breath, you'll find she's had a little nip of gin. And then you have the nerve to tell me you think that as a mother I'm not fit. Well, this is just a little Peyton place, and you're all Harper Valley hypocrites. No, I wouldn't put you on because it really did. It happened just this way. The day my mama socked to the Harper Valley PTA. The day my mama socked to the Harper Valley PTA. Another great story song. All right. Carrie, thanks for joining. All right, now, this next one, Tom wrote this next story song, but his good friend Bobby Bare was actually the first to record it. And this song is called "A Million Miles to the City." Yeah, I remember it now. We were kids back then, living down on a farm. We were told that the city could only bring us harm. Well, how far is the city? Somebody said. You know, that's a great big town. And Barbara said, why, it's 1,000,000 miles. And the story got around. It's 1,000,000 miles to the city. From the hills and valleys we know. It's 1,000,000 miles to the city. And someday we all want to go. There was a town nearby, but a town is a town, and a city, well, that's something else. Our daddy had been to a city, but he never was much help. Why, the buildings are taller than oak trees. But we knew better than that. Ain't nobody could climb that high. The cities were wide and flat. It's 1,000,000 miles to the city. From the hills and valleys we know. It's 1,000,000 miles to the city. And someday we all want to go. Well, now time has passed, and we have grown and traveled far and wide. The cities have changed the kids we were. We see it in each other's eyes. Lord, I'd love to go back to those hills again, to the boy I used to be, where the leaves in the wind and the whippoorwills were part of the land like me. And it's 1,000,000 miles to the city. From the hills and valleys we know. It's 1,000,000 miles to the city. And someday we all want to go. Yeah, it's 1,000,000 miles to the city. From the hills and valleys we know. It's 1,000,000 miles to the city. And someday we all want to go. Okay. Next up, a song that Tom wrote and recorded in 1972. Never released it as a single, but it keeps surfacing on my Pandora playlist, so I added it to my collection. This song is called Don't Forget the Coffee, Billy Joe. From the title, I mean, it's exactly what the song is, but you wonder, I mean, where the ideas came from. Just kind of a lot of creativity there. It snowed the night before and it had frozen on the ground. We didn't have a car and we lived 7 miles from town. And I can hear my daddy's voice so many years ago saying, don't forget the coffee, Billy Joe. Mama needs her medicine, she's got that real bad cough. We'll get our check on Monday, tell old Sam I'll pay him off. You can catch a ride when you get to the Blacktop Road. And don't forget the coffee, Billy Joe. Well, me and Quentin went back on the hill and we cut some wood. Burning in that old warm morning stove, it sure smelled good. Daddy couldn't get work then and I was just a child. God was on vacation for a while. Well, if you see well, if you see Fred, you tell him I'll come help him kill them hogs, and ask him if he'd still be interested in my dog. Don't hang around that pool room all day, we might get more snow. And don't forget the coffee, Billy Joe. Well, they wonder why there ain't no rabbits left here in this town. To tell the truth, I guess we ate 'em all in '49. Was that yesterday or was it over 20 years ago? Don't forget the coffee, Billy Joe. Yeah, Mama needs her medicine, she's got that real bad cough. We'll get our check on Monday, tell old Sam we'll pay him off. You can catch a ride when you get to the Blacktop Road. And don't forget the coffee, Billy Joe. Now pay attention, son. Don't forget the coffee, Billy Joe. All right, that's truly a song that is just a story. It probably has no significance, meaning to anyone else. It's just a story to listen to. All right, so this next one is another one that he did not release as a single, but I actually had this on a Tom T. Hall Greatest Hits album, even though this never became one of his greatest hits. And I just kind of like the song, so I added it to the collection. So this is called Give Her My Best. I don't want to fight about it, we've been friends too long. Someone ought to tell you, buddy, you've been wrong. You know that I stepped aside so you and she could wed. You spent half your married life in someone else's bed. Just tell her that you met someone you used to know before. Give her my best, you never gave her yours. There's nothing I can tell you that you don't already know. You two people made your choice a long, long time ago. I'm not bitter, it just hurts when someone lets you down. I just feel she ought to know that I am still around. She might need to talk to me, 'cause that's what friends are for. Give her my best, you never gave her yours. I wonder if you know the way I feel about her now. You're like the dog that sleeps on hay and keeps it from the cow. She's not mine, but if she were, she wouldn't be alone. For what it's worth, she's worth more love than you have ever shown. You've got my word, I wouldn't know what happens behind your door. Give her my best, you never gave her yours. Give her my best, you never gave her yours. Okay. Now we've reached the portion of the show where I do an original one, and I can see I'm well over halfway, so I can guarantee we're not gonna finish Tom T. Hall tonight, even though I thought we would. So this is one of the songs that my friend Charlie and I wrote together. He wrote the lyrics, and I wrote the music. This is one of our earlier songs. It's about leaving someone and then deciding you want to go back to them. This song is called "Help Me, Help Me." Close the door, I walked away. No long goodbye, no more to say. Tears in your eyes, the price I paid for one mistake, for love betrayed. Got in my car, so it didn't sound right. This is a song we wrote. I did the music, but it was a while ago. There was a wrong chord there. Completely changed the song. Let's start that over. You closed the door, I walked away. No long goodbye, no more to say. Tears in your eyes, the price I paid for one mistake, for love betrayed. Got in my car, drove night and day. Thought everything would be okay. But by the time I hit LA, I knew I'd gone the wrong way. You've gotta help me, help me. You've gotta help me, help me. Find my way back home again. You've gotta help me, help me. Baby, help me, help me. Find my way back home again. I leave LA, take I-40, end up lost in Albuquerque, head north where you might be, end up lost in Laramie. The road is dark ahead of me. Will you be there when I turn the key? I was blind, babe, too blind to see how much your love means to me. You've gotta help me, help me. You've gotta help me, help me. Find my way back home again. You've gotta help me, help me. Baby, help me, help me. Find my way back home again. Like a ship at sea, lost in the night, I ran off course, slipped out of sight. But you're my North Star, shining so bright, my heart and soul, my redeeming light. What I did I can't undo. Babe, I was wrong, I know it's true. I'll do what it takes to start anew. Just show me the way back to you. You've gotta help me, help me. You've gotta help me, help me. Find my way back home again. You've gotta help me, help me. Baby, help me, help me. Find my way back home again. Quite the deal to mess up on a song you wrote, but these things happen. All right. Next up, a song that Tom wrote and that the singer Graham Parsons actually first recorded. The song was also on that greatest hits album I had of Tom's. And this one is called I Can't Dance. I can't dance, and I never could. I guess my feet don't match. I've been thinking about dancing with you, but I'm afraid of hurting my back. I don't know what you're doing, but I like everything you do. Well, just for a little bit, baby, I'd come out and dance with you, but I can't dance, and I'm feeling so good. Some of us can and some of us can't. Some of us wish that we could dance, but some can't dance, and I guess I'm just one of the unfortunate few. Well, just for a little bit, baby, I'd come out and dance with you. Well, my mind is out there with you now, but I can't get my body to move. Sitting here falling in love, 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 thinking something I can't prove. My soul is willing, my mind is ready, but there's something that I never could do. Well, just for a little bit, baby, I'd come out and dance with you. But I can't dance, and I'm feeling so good. Well, some of us can and some of us can't. Some of us wish that we could dance. Some can't dance, and I guess I'm just one of the unfortunate few. Well, just for a little bit, baby, I'd come out and dance with you. Yes, some can't dance, and I guess I'm just one of the unfortunate few. Well, just for a little bit, baby, I'd come out and dance with you. Okay, now the backstory for this next song is that Tom wrote this song while flying over his old house, while seated next to Connie Smith on a plane after a gig they performed somewhere. He was looking out the window, humming a tune, and she said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Writing a song." This is another song Tom never released as a single, but that I had on that one of the greatest hits albums. Even though, again, this one never became a greatest hit. And again, just kind of liked it enough to put it in the collection. This is called I Flew Over Our House Last Night. That old Kentucky moon was shining bright as day. The stars were twinkling in the Milky Way. The pilot said, if you look close, there's Frankfurt on the right. I flew over our house last night. 30,000 feet below me, you were fast asleep. And 30,000 feet above, I almost stopped to weep. So close and yet so far away, so wrong and yet so right. I flew over our house For just 1 second I thought I was back in town. The man your friends all say has only brought you down. The airline hostess asked me, "Sir, are you sure that you're all right?" I flew over our house last night. 30,000 feet below me, you were fast asleep. And 30,000 feet above, I almost stopped to weep. I wonder if you tossed and turned as I flew out of sight. I flew over our house last night. I flew over our house last night. Okay. Next up, one of those classic I'm leaving and not coming back songs. This seems like a missed opportunity that Tom should have released this one as a single and didn't. But this is called I Miss a Lot of Trains. When the train pulls in the station, you'll be waiting by the track. You're having trouble sleeping nights. You want me to come back, but that old train will roll on by. You'll know I never came, 'cause I sleep good and miss a lot of trains. I sleep good and I miss a lot of trains. That one-way track to no man's love, I'll never ride again. I used to lie awake like you, calling out your name. Now I sleep good and I miss a lot of trains. You're standing in the station, I can see you in my mind. You think that I'll forgive again, but you're so wrong this time. Your sleepless eyes and selfish heart are waiting there in vain, while I sleep good and I miss a lot of trains. Yeah, I sleep good and I miss a lot of trains. That one-way track to no man's love, I'll never ride again. I used to lie awake like you, calling out your name. Now I sleep good and I miss a lot of trains. Yeah, I sleep good and I miss a lot of trains. All right, now this next one is a song that I didn't even know was a Tom T. Hall song until I started listening to Pandora music a few years ago. And this song, for whatever reason, comes up fairly frequently. And I didn't, not like I liked it, but it kept coming up. So Tom wrote this song in 1968 and included it on his 1969 album of Ballad of $40, but did not release the song as a single. This is called Shame on the Rain. Shame on the rain for making me twice as blue. It's raining in my heart, on my window too. Days just like this have put out the flame. I've got that smoke in my eyes. Shame on the rain. You'd think it's enough just to know that she's gone with my kind of love. It'll rain from now on. After I'd lost such a heartbreaking game, you'd think the sun would shine. Shame on the rain. Shame on the rain for adding to my unrest. She took the sun. It figures, I guess, that I have my share of sorrow and pain. Well, look what a day it is. Shame on the rain. Just look what a day it is. Shame on the rain. All right, now this is next up. This is kind of one of the more odd, I'd say, Tom T. Hall songs, but like all the rest, or nearly all the rest, it's a story about people he knew. The song was released in 1972 on the same album that had Me and Jesus and The Monkey That Became President and Pamela Brown. But this song was not released as a single. And again, it's one I keep hearing on Pandora. This is a story song, and it's called She Gave Her Heart to Jethro. About an odd relationship. I guess you know Jethro went crazy. We've all been crazy sometimes. They fixed up his lungs and his fever, but they could not fix up his mind. He married a beautiful redhead. Of women they say she's a pearl. She gave her heart to Jethro and her body to the whole damn world. Well, Jethro had someone to talk to. They were monsters and little green men. But but he never talked to his woman. No, he spent all his time with his friends. In the evenings she would drive off and leave him. She tossed back her long, pretty curls. She gave her heart to Jethro and her body to the whole damn world. Some friends came and begged her to leave him. They said Jethro belongs in a home. She said, my heart is Jethro's, but my God-given body is my own. Now some of her lovers were strangers. She gave everybody a whirl. She gave her heart to Jethro and her body to the whole damn world. Now I know some will condemn me for writing this song of a man and his wife. But a man's not writing if he can't relate all the things he sees in his life. I know some will condemn me for cursing, but much can be said for this girl who gave her heart to old Jethro and her body to the whole damn world. So there you go. That was kind of an odd one and a longer one. So we will go right to 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, there's going to be 5 more Tom T. Hall songs next week. I thought we'd finish it tonight, but no. So we'll go right to our gospel for tonight. This is probably good to segue out of that last song into a gospel song. I first heard tonight's gospel song on YouTube, on a YouTube recording of Randy Travis, Willie Nelson, and Chris Christopherson while I was stumbling around on YouTube looking for, I think, Willie Nelson songs. And then Randy Travis also included this song in his 2011 album entitled 25th Anniversary. I like the song so much that I included it on my 2016 gospel CD entitled Simple Grace. This song has had more Spotify streams than any of my other songs on the CDs. So this song is called Road to Surrender. Dear Lord, I've heard you know when somebody hits the bottom of their soul. Oh Lord, I hope you see something that's worth saving when you look at me, 'cause I have no fight left in me now. I bring my pride and I lay it down and on my knees here at your feet. I'll give you all that's left of me. Oh Lord, this weary, broken sinner is on the road to surrender. My life is in your hands. They say no one can fix broken like you can. So help me, let it go. All the guilt that's held me under its control, 'cause I have no fight left in me now. I bring my pride and I lay it down, and on my knees here at your feet I'll give you all that's left of me. Oh Lord, this weary, broken sinner is on the road to surrender. I don't know how to pray or what I'm supposed to say, 'cause here they call it faith, but Lord, I'm so afraid, 'cause I have no fight left in me now. I bring my pride and I lay it down, and on my knees here at your feet I'll give you all that's left of me. Oh Lord, this weary, broken sinner is on the road to surrender. Oh Lord, this weary, broken sinner is on the road to surrender. Okay. That takes us to our benediction. Look, we're finishing really close to on time tonight. May the good Lord bless and keep you, whether near or far away. May you find that long-awaited golden day today. May your troubles all be small ones, and your fortune 10 times 10. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. May you walk with sunlight shining and a bluebird in every tree. May there be a silver lining back of every cloud you see. Fill your dreams with sweet tomorrows, never mind what might have been. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. May you walk with sunlight shining and a bluebird in every tree. May there be a silver lining back of every cloud you see. Fill your dreams with sweet tomorrows, never mind what might have been. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. thank you for tuning in, everybody. We'll try and make these a little more timely. It might be too much of a rush to get it over with, I guess. I don't know. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. For those who think you may know somebody who would like this kind of music, please feel free to share it. Thank you to those who are watching later. And have a great week and have a safe week. Have a happy 4th of July. And we will see you back here next Sunday at 7 o'clock with at least 5 more Tom T. Hall songs before we move on. So thanks again. Good night, everybody.